Only you would call me an armadillo and mean it as a compliment. Would accept my neuroses, my childish outbursts and shenanigans, and at the same time demand better. Only you would ask me to vomit quietly because the baby's trying to sleep. Would track down first edition Hubert Selby novels to give to me on, of course, Valentine's Day. And there's not a woman alive that's got your looks and your sass. And Brita, no one but you would agree to let me write my own vows. But most important, no one else fuses with me, inspirits me, shelters, excites, nourishes, cultivates virtue in me as you do, consistently, patiently, and without reservation. There are, of course, quite a few more only yous, but there are guests, and I'm not that drunk. Nietzsche writes that art is the great stimulus to life, and that life is justified only as an aesthetic phenomenon. But he died as he lived, alone and with syphilis. I love art, whatever that is. But art cannot by itself compensate for the fact that we are separate beings, fundamentally alone in the world. That is the role of love, its great promise and our great hope. And we do a lot of crazy shit for it, because of it, and too often in avoidance of it. Sometimes without knowledge, but nevertheless sabotaging our own best efforts and virtually ensuring our own unhappiness. But that tendency is not stated. Nothing says we have to ruin our best shot at happiness. What we have to do, Fromm tells us, is learn to move from the feeling of falling in love, pleasurable as it is, to standing in love. From feeling to feeling plus commitment. Before we were a we, back when I was lovesick and pathetically languishing for you, I was convinced that if I could somehow trick you into falling in love with me, then the standing would just follow. Or if I could just get you to stand still, then we'd be unmovable. A couple of years and some change and a kid later, I can say right now, assuredly, that somehow, and God only knows, it worked. I did it. I tricked you, and you're mine. But I'm also yours, obviously. Absolutely. Fromm also says that love is not, or should not be viewed as a partnership. But he was a psychoanalyst, and like Nietzsche, a German. So on this point, I respectfully disagree. We are a team, and we run a fine ball club. I mean, our daughter is still alive, which, from my end of things, is no small feat. But our partnership goes beyond child rearing and the economics of domestic living. Ours is a life-affirming interpenetration of two complete personalities, a hybrid, strong-willed empathy machine, a blessing, deification of existence, a superabundance of devotion, overflowing, and triumphant. A kingdom, here and now seating three, until the day we die. With that in mind, I understand that I owe you some vows. I also understand that it's customary that in these vows I pledge to remain faithful in the face of certain crises or opportunities. But I'm not going to do that. Not because I intend to be unfaithful or fickle, but because you're not an idiot. If you were not already convinced of my fidelity to you, our relationship, and our daughter, then we just wouldn't be here, exchanging vows next to what I'm assuming is Ohio's finest cheese factory. But also, my promising to remain faithful would just sound suspicious to me, and I might run the risk of raising doubts where there weren't any to begin with. So here are my solemn promises, deeply sincere, not necessarily formal and dignified. So I've divided them into two categories, permanence and change. So promises to remain unwavering about certain things and promises to try really hard to make positive changes about other things. So first, I promise to comfort you when you feel a surge of anxiety about death. I promise that no matter how long my beard gets, I will not self-radicalize, which is what they're calling it these days, or become a vegetarian. I promise to work on exercising emotional intelligence, especially when it comes to anger. I promise never to vote for the President of the United States. Unless, of course, the candidate promises to get rid of the CIA, the DIA, the NSA, the FBI, the OICI, the TFI, and of course the Federal Reserve. Then I might reconsider. I promise never to split my infinitives. I promise to try to instill in Cordelia both a sense of discipline and the spirit of appropriate disobedience. I promise to work on abating my pessimism that sometimes borders on misanthropy. I promise to rub your feet and back more, a lot more, the next time you're pregnant. I promise never to believe anything the government tells me, or its corporate media, unless they come clean about Lee Harvey Oswald's relationship to the FBI and the CIA, and the inexplicable collapse of World Trade Center 7. But even then, I promise to overlook your inability to retain all the useless bits of information I throw at you day after day. I promise to stop trying to fix everything, not anything related to manual labor or man smarts, obviously, but the things that concern and annoy you. So what I mean is I promise to get better at just letting you vent when all you want from me is an understanding presence. I promise never to lose sight of just how blessed I am, how happy I am to be with you, and how much joy you've brought to my life. I love you. Not enough to let you watch videos of me in marching band, but enough to stand up in front of a group of people and tell you why you're a hell of a woman and why I'm lucky to be